Hello everybody, welcome to another Trusteft Retro Weekend experience. This time we have the 1990 DuckTales The Quest for Gold game for the Atari ST, funnily enough from Disney. The game is a mix of mini-games combined with a strategic business layer for the extra spice. I remember reading about this game before I got my hands on it back in the day, and loving the idea of having this freedom, exploration and business management aspects in this universe. Of course, the final result couldn't possibly reach my expectations, but it's not a terribly bad game. The game starts with you, Scrooge, placing a bet with one of your rivals, Flintheart Glomgold. Whoever earns the most money in 30 days wins. A front page cover and an award from the Dime magazine are yours for the take. You cannot use your already accumulated fortune, so you start with $0. The game is split into 7 sections, with 5 of them having pure action controls, which for the most people will be the best. So I'm going to start with the other 2. The first is you in your office, where you can dive inside your gold. If you get lucky, you might even find a missed lucky coin, which can provide you some extra starting money. The second is the investment business part. You get to access online stock market and buy stocks out of 15 different companies with the hope they'll go up. You can rely completely on luck or wait till you get a tip suggesting a company might do better in the future. This part was always the one I was most looking forward to, and while it is far from what I wanted, it's a fun little experience for the first few times you play the game. You cannot win without playing the actual mini games, and that is possible only if you access the control center, which is basically a world map. There you can choose which expedition to go to and search for a treasure. Depending on the location, you get a different type of mini-game. When you pick one, you get some extra info on the location, if you do this from within the office, as it is also possible to travel to other locations directly after an expedition. To play one of the 4 mini-games, you first have to play the mini-game which you control Launchpad's plane. The controls are very twitchy, and for me at least not fun at all. You have to keep adjusting the speed of your plane. If you go too slow you stall, if you go too fast you cannot react fast enough to avoid obstacles. If Flintheart decides to go for the same treasure at the same time, then his plane can be seen too, and whoever reaches the end of the trip wins the chance to go first. His plane is not the fastest, but he cannot be interrupted by any obstacles. Unfair to say the least. If you manage to reach the end and land your plane, yes, land, then you get to play one of 4 mini-games trying to locate a treasure. Mountain climbing, perhaps the least fun for me. I was having serious problem controlling my rope, which led me to just waste time without much fun. Climbing manually also seemed to work sometimes and others not. Bionic Commando this is not. Jungle Survival, a mix of Pitfall and Flashback. Not as good as either. Avoid non-swimming animals, use vines and jump. Unfortunately, sometimes when you do an action your character decides to do an extra one. To me this led to several deaths and no desire to keep playing it. Cave Exploring, the game which makes the least sense and feels like it will be the most unfair, ends up being the one I had the most fun with. With the help of the mini-map, you need to find the main treasure while avoiding a mummy which is after you. You also need to make sure you don't fall into a pit. In theory, slime on the wall means a pit is nearby. In practice it feels completely random and you are unable to stop from falling into it. Still, this game is the most complete and with some fun into it. Unlike Photo Safari, which is easy, makes sense, has almost no control issues, but it is so boring I doubt anyone wants to play it more than once or twice. You take photos, up to 12, of the rare animals you are informed of. Extremely simple controls, but hardly interesting minigame. Technically the most complete, with the least amount of bugs. Safari Guns, this is not. At the end of the 30 days, you are at the scales of Macaroon, where yours and Fleetwood's profits, yes, are measured to see who wins. With randomized aspects and freedom of choosing where to go and what to do, there is plenty of replayability in this game. The graphics are good, though it would be nice to use the STE capabilities for at least more colors on screen. The animation is good, and the music has some variety and good enough to not trouble you. There are digitized sound effects / speeds, but for some bizarre reason they are at extremely low levels, and unless you want to go deaf with every other part of the game, you won't hear anything other than something playing sometimes. The controls have issues, and there are long loading times when run from a floppy disk. This feels like the game needed 3 more months in production. It's a shame because it could have been a classic. Now, it's a game I forgot about it till I happened to see it while thinking what to play for my channel. It's a quack.